ASMR. Yeah. There we go. Real ASMR here. Through the jacket or sweater. All right. So it's really fascinating, this spending time, right? I find it, I looked back, I think season 2 or season 3 of Warmup, of the different things I've been drawing over the years. It's crazy. I mean, it's a really interesting thing about looking at all the drawings, and it's an interesting concept as an idea. I like the idea of a book of warm-up, but the problem I'm having with that is that each image isn't high quality, right? It's just a 30-minute sketch, a book full of 30-minute sketches. But I guess it could be interesting to see all what thousands of warm-ups I've done in one collection. That could be a cool idea, or maybe at least like an ebook or something. Hey Yatski, Zielin, Koschiv, Bruno Romanos, Cosmo, Zielin, what up? The warm book, the warm-up book, the warm book. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. So, topic. What should we draw? Let's go. Let's go. I am eager to get going. If Captain Boss would be here, he would say argumenting goblins. But alas, is today the day? I am confused. Is it special day today? Wait. What is it today? What? Or today is just another day? Oh, right, of argumenting goblins. So we got, hey Frenchie, crystallizing flower. I want to paint that. Oh, please be topic number 1. Topic number 2, cyber goblin, the revenge. Cool, cool. A tiny king. Ah, nice. It's nice. Nice topics today. Interesting. All providing very interesting ideas or solutions or outcomes. If there's no more topic suggestions, I will roll the dice on 3 topics because I have to start. It's 10 past. But let's, if there is, we'll adapt. Hey, Chrome, why are you the way you are? There you go. Yes. Lighthouse keeper. All right, we got 4 topics. So if it's 5 and 6, it's my choice. Clear. 1. Throw. It's number 1. Yes. The topic I wanted. Look at that. Hey, Balibonator. It is crystallizing flower. Oh, nice. Natsuki. Such a romantic topic. Crystallizing flower by Natsuki. That's fascinating. I'm looking forward to paint that. Hey Amir, how's it going? Manionj, what up? How's it going? Good morning. Wanamir. Very glad to have you back, Atsuki. You've been missed. I hope it's busy in a good way. Okay. So I want So I want a blue flower with, let's say, green elements in it. A mustard base? Yeah, if the blue is cyan, this might work. Dark crystal, yeah. Oh, you'll be working already? You're working already, Cosmoverse. All right. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it too. Oh, we need to start the timer. Here we go. Let's do this. Hey guys, how's it going? Blue. Blue, always. You can't go wrong with blue. So the picture in my head, when I heard the topic, I found this old brush, by the way. I looked at old warm-ups, and I saw that I did a lot of line art with this brush, and I was like, oh yeah, I remember. It's like I've been in a haze of new brushes, and then I saw this one, and I was like, yeah, I remember something about. I knew it was something. It does really cool things when you do line art with it. I had forgotten how I quite enjoyed doing line art. Friendship, I haven't seen the new Dark Crystal. But if it's in anything like the old one, it's gonna be a classic. But the problem, like, the problem with movies that are iconic, a lot of them share this problem that time isn't, trends over time isn't a constant, right? They change. And the problem with a lot of really good movies, old movies, is that fact that time, over time, you that you, people like different things, quality changes, people's technology improve. So when you see an old movie again, it's like, oh, I don't remember this. Also, your mind changes, you mature, you change your taste, and there's a line in a song of mine, a song of mine. I don't make music. A song I like. I was supposed to say. About the song is about like lost friendship and so on, but the one of the lines is nostalgia is my greatest enemy, and I find it to ring so true, you know, like especially with childhood memories of like, oh, this movie was so good, I remember loving it and it was fantastic, and then as an adult you watch it and you go, it's pretty shit, to be fair. And that tarnishes the memory of the experience, right? And I kind of dislike that fact, and that's why I try not to revisit my absolute loved movies from my childhood. I can revisit movies from my teen up without a problem. I can watch them and go, oh, okay, that was a shit movie, but I liked it for the time. But it's like removing one leg from a chair when you go back and watch a childhood movie, you know, that you've loved so much. And if you do that too much, the chair will collapse. But the teens and up, it doesn't matter, you know, you're already established taste and so on, and you've lost the sense of magic, right? the magic of childhood. And but yeah, so in terms of the Dark Crystal, like I want to rewatch the Dark Crystal just so that I can see the new one. But the risk is I'll ruin the memory of Dark Crystal if I rewatch Dark Crystal. So potentially Bali Bonator. I don't know. Actually, I haven't seen the new one. The old one was a really cool, like hero's journey kind of deal, right? The new one, I have no idea what it's about. I know it's just the same cast, and what made Dark Crystal really cool back then was the puppetry and the quality of the puppetry and the kind of world building that they had done. And the art book for Dark Crystal, the first movie, is insanely cool. It's one of the, like when I saw it the first time, it was like getting a mad scientist sketchbook, and it was amazing to flip through, and it was this joyride of creative power. I remember that the art book from that movie, like with I remember it had layers to it, and you could remove one layer and you would have another reveal, and you would remove one layer and you would have another reveal, like the inscriptions and things. It was fascinating. Hey, Gria. Akagria. Why? Why did you change? Nothing is the same anymore. That Riddler. Yeah, that's the problem with puppetry, right? So that's why I also don't want to rewatch Dark Crystal, like the original. But one cool thing with the new one that they said, I haven't seen it, so keep that in mind, is that they used puppetry, right? And everyone was like, yeah, go back to the old days of puppetry. It was amazing. But again, I think it's a little bit of nostalgia, you know, playing its part, messing with our brains of thinking like, yeah, nostalgia is a great thing. We should, or I mean, puppetry is a great thing. We should, it should be everywhere. And then you see it and you go, maybe it wasn't such a hot idea, you know. So I think it's a little bit of that. But granted, I haven't seen the new Dark Crystal, so take my comment about it being stiff puppetry with a grain of salt, because I haven't seen it. But I can definitely see that being the case, you know. New Gria. It's a new Gria. Yeah. It's one of those things, right? Should you, shouldn't you? And in a way that applies to your own work, right? And your own portfolio. Sad but true, right? The whole idea of your body of work, and that you like the look of it when you've created it, and then with the tests of time, you look back at your portfolio and go, ooh, was it really that good as I remember it? And I think that's a good thing and a bad thing. The good thing is that it happens to us all, and it happens to everything. That's the good thing. So no need to hang your head in shame that your portfolio after a while looks outdated and boring. for multiple reasons. One of the reasons being nostalgia and you remembering it for what it was rather than for what it is. And secondly is that we all change with time and our tastes mature. So it's a great thing that we don't like it anymore and we want to see something new of ourselves, right? So that's a positive. But what I found, oh no, that's not good. What I find interesting is even with big projects like let's say Dark Crystal, right? Or any really big thing, like a game that you absolutely loved a couple of years ago, and then you revisit the game and it's really boring, really stiff, really repetitive in today's standard. But nevertheless, the background is wrong color. Nevertheless, the attempt was there, the push was there from the developers to make as a good project or a product as possible, right? And I find that's really fascinating because you do the same when you do your portfolio, right? You really take the time to try to push the body of work, the quality to be high, all these things. And the more experience you have, in a way, the more you can safeguard for the tests of time, right? A classic art is always forever classic, right? And it's only a few products. This is like probably I'm going to be hated from the fine art part of the industry, but let's say Mona Lisa, it is a product. You can see it as a product, right? It's designed, it is created not for the joy of it in that sense, but as a showcase of expertise and obviously for the joy of it as well as it is art. But I mean, he was a professional when he made it, not a hobbyist, right? But regardless, it is it's your work will always grow old. I've noticed that over the years as well when I see my old like old portfolio stuff. Some for me age horribly, like, oh shit, how could I draw that? Versus another piece done at the exact same period in my life, which I still like. Oh yeah, I like that. That still works. The Riddler topic is always at the bottom right. You see number 32 of season 5, crystallizing flower, and Atsuki mentioned or Atsuki won the dice roll. You watched the original Friendship Friendship or the new one? Now, where was I? Yeah, aging art, right? And you see some looks horrible, some looks really good, and some always look good. So I wonder if those the ones that you always appreciate, do they have a special recipe that doesn't age, or has that part of your taste or preferred shapes hasn't it matured? It hasn't moved away from its original point so much that you dislike what that old piece does to you. or is it just that great balance between shapes and form and light that still tickles all your fancies about what you did? It's an intriguing topic. It's an intriguing thing to think about when you kind of try to break it down like that. How an old piece that you created still resonates with you, even after years. Even though you in theory could do much better, but it's like, should you repaint it, ruin the nostalgia of it, just to get technically a more up-to-date piece? Or does it still hold its own, you know? Balibanator, yeah, absolutely, I think so. Hey, Geno Lab, how's it going? Welcome. Oh, you rewatched the original Frenchie? That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, I mean, the designs as I remember them were fascinating. Amazing world building. That Riddler, yeah, exactly. But also, I mean, yeah, what people um, think about it is definitely a big part of it. I mean, that's that we are all talking about um, Dark Crystal, right? But Dark Crystal also exists. You know, each and every one of ours, the ones that have seen it, um, memory of it, right? And what we took away from being good, based on where we were in our lives at the point of watching it, right? But it wouldn't. I mean, it still holds up. I mean, it's a classic, and they've done amazing work um, of making that body, that product, right? Um, Now the question is it created so uniquely that there were no at that time contemporary um, things that with modern times would be cheesy? Let me clarify. The Labyrinth, right, with David Bowie. When we see everything up to the point until we see the Goblin King, when we see the Goblin King, we were like 80s. Without a doubt, late 80s, right? But everything else is like, it holds its own. The puppetry is cool, even today. But as soon as we see David Bowie, we go, all right, now I get it. What age this? He hasn't aged well in the way they designed him, like how they put the costume on him, right? That's an interesting thing. Like, and then if you imagine having a whole product based on those principles, where they have these too many hints of that at the time contemporary elements, which doesn't translate well over time. But like historical pieces like from the Empire Age, we don't. I mean, they have to be historically accurate, right? And we can't have like a David Bowie guy next to Queen Victoria. You know, they were like, "Oh, he didn't age well." Bali Beneder. Yeah, I mean that's another cool point. Like Star Wars, all the original ones, right? The first three. I think that they age well because, again, I don't think there's a lot of these kind of contemporary elements that throws you off when you see them. I don't know. I don't know really. But one thing is for sure though, is I see it in my own art. in some pieces that I knew I absolutely loved, and then I see it again, and I cringe. Which in itself, you know, is an interesting topic to consider. I mean, when you have to put something with you in it, in terms of you invest your let's say a very personal piece of art that you've done, right, where you put emotion, skill, and hard work into, you know, to try to have a beautiful painting. Yeah, the like you can see your own emotions clearly, you know, if you do a very emotional painting, you know, like a vent dump of, you're in a glass box of emotions and need to ventilate. Shout out Anchorman. Personally, those paintings for you will always be, they will always hold a worth, right? Because it's an emotional dump on your end. You're ventilating, you're breathing into art, into the piece, right? And then it's going to be really hard for you as the author of that piece to be objective. And it's really hard to try to take a step back from your piece and try to see it objectively and try to analyze of, did you go too far, you know. It's a really tricky subject in terms of how you wanna, I don't know, like, but if you, maybe even if you're too aware of the fact that you are like a product of your life and society and where you are at this very moment, if you're too aware of it when you're creating something, maybe you're losing a voice behind it as well, because you're trying to, you filter too much, you're trying to navigate too much rather than just feeling. And maybe it is a part of the game to do a lot of shit ones until you strike gold, which is the magic combination of flavor and time. And Bruno Romanos, yeah, Bruno Romanos, I agree. But then you could also consider Frazetta's work. Is it because the topic and the stuff is timeless? Because I can see some of his Frazetta's work, it's like, oh, all right, clearly 90s, like clearly 80s cheese, you know. And when I see those particular ones, I go, okay, not for me, right? But then when you see other Frazettas, which is like tightly produced quality fantasy work that just transports you to this impression, right? To this world that Frazetta created. I wonder what that formula is. Oh, come on. Show me the... Why can't I see the... What? I've hidden the selection. I know the shortcut to hide it. Weird. Hey, Narek. Gevorgian, how's it going? Maybe it's because it's very unique, Bruno? Yeah. I wonder what, I mean, I'm so fascinated by these things in terms of like the human mind, why we certain times just absolutely love something over like 10 years, and then another thing we can absolutely hate after 2 months. Like it was great when it came 2 months ago, we watched again and it's like, geez. And it happens with art as well. Like you can remember something like just being, your mind blown by it, and then 2 months later you go, all right, it's okay. Yet then you see someone's painting that you saw 10 years ago and you go like, ooh, still good. If you can figure that recipe out and tell me, sell it to me in a in a bottle, I'd be a happy man. Because then I would do hit after hit. Narek, well, very happy to see a YouTube follower here on Twitch. Thank you very much, by the way, for watching me on YouTube. It's very appreciated. Even though I don't get any money from YouTube, I'm glad that you find the time to do watch it on YouTube. It's very appreciated, and thank you. And welcome to Warmup. Balibanator. Absolutely. I have to agree. A lot of work doesn't age well. Can it be because there isn't enough planning? Like what I'm thinking is, like, yeah, you can I mean, you can hedge your bets by producing better, right? More of this, less of that. Use these colors, don't use that. Use these shapes, don't use these. And some people are great at producing their art, not from the artist point of view, but from the producer's point of view. You know, what's a great subject? What's a great style? What colors are selling well? What colors are classics? What colors are experimental? So that's also a very interesting thing, you know, like that's a skill set in itself as well. Like how much of a thinker are you in terms of not just emotionally reacting when you're creating art, but you're actually trying to make a battle plan. But those things has to be, I think, applied to bigger projects rather than just like this. Like this painting is clearly just 100% emotional. There's no planning involved. It's just me sketching something out, and it is what it is, right? But then you could also do this with planning. You could sketch, you could research, you could gather references, you could do more than one painting. You could paint it over and over and over again. You know, there's a lot of different facets to creating something. And for me personally, a lot of my portfolio work is just a single shot. Is this good? I'll keep it in my portfolio. Is it bad? I'll dump it out of my portfolio. But it isn't like I'm going to redraw, I'm going to repaint this, I'm going to fix these problems, I'm going to produce it this way this time around, I'm going to, you know, change the, I've never done that. Never done that. I've done planning while I'm creating the piece of art, right? References, mood boards, thumbnailing, color keys, and stuff like that. Yeah, I've done that. But I've never gone back and repainted one based on the previous version to try to improve it. And I think that will be an interesting challenge, and definitely a way to kill your babies in terms of, let's take your favorite piece of art from your portfolio and then repaint it completely and try to make it better from scratch. Chances are, sadly, is that you'll kill it. You'll kill the love. But I think that is the way you got to do it, though, to get something that's classic. That ages well. Like, what's that? There's an American painter a lot of people love nowadays. Oh, me and names. Anyways, how he painted was he did brushstroke by brushstroke from the start to finish, and if he made one mistake, he trashed the painting and did it again. Whatever his name is, I can't remember. Sargent. There we go. Sargent. So he repainted his paintings. He didn't accept them, and no, it's not better. Worse. Anyways, crystallizing flower, strange one, very kind of washed out. Not the color pops that I was expecting, but nevertheless, fun. Frenchy, I don't think I'll do Inktober. Zealin, yeah, exactly. Rework the ones that you cringe, but loved at some point. Cosmoverse, yeah, I think it would be an interesting challenge, to be fair. Balibanator, yeah, absolutely. You really gotta plan stuff if you want it to be really solid. No happy accidents. Yeah. It needs more contrast. Anyways, time is up. Let's find someone to raid. If you have any suggestion on persons to raid, I'm all ears. What is Moondog drawing? doggies. Lisray is doing another 3D model. Pretty cool. Maybe. Someone doing pixel art. What's Maddie up to? It's a pretty cool painting. Tofu Senshi. Let's raid Tofu Senshi. Let's give her some love. Gria. Why not? I don't think you should hardcore it though. Like, I'm gonna have to draw every day or I will fail. But what I think you should do is do it because it's fun. And try to follow it as much as you want, as often as you want, but do it. It's a great exercise. Inking itself, it's fun to experiment with. So do it. All right. We're gonna raid Tofu Senshi. She's doing something. Haven't raided her in a while. I'm gonna do the outro, and after the outro, take you to the raid. So don't go anywhere. Have a great day. Have a fantastic night's sleep if you're in that part of the world. As per usual, see you tomorrow. Thanks everyone for coming. Have a great day.